Well, the other big news that we're discussing today on the show, the result of the second Sero survey, which was conducted in Chennai recently, has been released to detect the transmission of the coronavirus. And it's revealed that nearly 1/3 of the city's population has been exposed to the pathogen. The results have shown an overall positivity rate of 32.3%. Now, this was more than the number of those found affected by the virus during the first survey conducted in July. In the first phase of the survey, with a sample size of around 12,000, had revealed on 1st of September that a fifth of the population, that's 21.5%, of the population in Chennai had been exposed to coronavirus. Well, to talk more about this, we're now joined by Dr. Mohammed Rella, a surgeon and chairman and director at Dr. Rella Institute and Medical Center at Chennai. Thank you so much for joining us, Doctor. So first, tell us, take us through the findings of the Sero survey. And 1/3 of Chennai's population has been affected by COVID.
Oh, thank you very much, and good afternoon. I think it is good news if you ask me. 1/3, I think they have done almost a little over 6,000 patients within the Chennai metropolitan city, and found that 1 in 3 have tested positive. In the first survey, we all know that 1 in 5 have been positive, and slowly the population have got infected. And you'll see that most of these are really asymptomatic patients. I think this has got a huge implications actually, and I see this as a very good news. However much people might criticize the government and whatever we have done, I think we are in a much better situation than many countries, many even Western countries. Now, when we say 1 in 3 is already infected and they've got antibodies, so we have got immune, and the government policy, what it has done is what everybody aimed to do was the flattening of the curve. If you look at the Tamil Nadu numbers, they've been around 5,000 for almost 2 months. And what this has done is actually not stretch the resources. In Tamil Nadu, maybe only I would say in June, somewhere in the middle, we had some problem with bed capacity and things like that. And that hardly lasted for about a week. And after that, I don't think we have ever had a situation where patients have been struggling for beds or anybody's died because of want of ITU beds. So this slow infectivity rate and the control of the virus has slowly actually given an immunity for the asymptomatic patients within the population. So in 2 months' time, what was 1 in 5 has become 1 in 3. And we could estimate that in another 3 months' time, it could double actually. You could in fact have a situation where 60% of the population may be immune. And it also says another thing. I think it also says that the number of asymptomatic patients are very high. Maybe the virus is not actually as virulent as it was earlier on, or maybe the population itself is partly immune and they're not getting the severity of the infection as we have seen before. Now, so we have got a situation where we have got 1/3 of the population which are infected and are immune. And these people will help in breaking the chain. And therefore, the severity and the infectivity of the virus, what they call the R0, is going to go down now. And mostly it is the younger people who are going to be infected. I'm not saying now people can relax and think that they can go everywhere. I think what we need to do now is to actually protect the elderly population from getting the infection. So the estimate now is this is going to go on for another 3 months or 4 months. And after that, if you get what is called a herd immunity, you will get into a situation where you're going to have the epidemic will become a slow endemic, and you may have cases cropping up. We were talking about vaccination earlier on. I was very interested in listening to what is it, when is it going to be, and when is the vaccination. Actually, a herd immunity like that and the population getting immune like this without much symptom is going to have a less role for the vaccination itself. I'm not going to say vaccination is not going to be useful, but by the time vaccinations comes to use in 3 months' time, if 60% of the population are infected, and if these people who have antibodies are surely the people who will be immune, we even were talking about whether vaccination is going to work or not. And there is also another fact that I've observed. We have to manage almost 2,500 COVID patients in our hospital. There are many patients who have gone through the infection and actually are not demonstrating their antibodies. So the serosurveillance of 1 in 3 may actually be an underestimate of true immunity of the population. There are people who may be immune but may not actually show enough levels of antibodies. So I think the whole thing is a positive thing. And another important aspect to this, I feel, is India is unlikely to get a second peak. If the population is getting immune like this, see, wherever there is a sudden sharp rise and a sudden sharp fall without much of the population getting infected, you're bound to get the infection coming back and then the population are going to get infected. And here we are in a situation where we were running a flat curve for a very long time and a huge amount of the population has become immune. I think India will not get a second peak. I'm no expert in this.
We can only hope that that's what actually happens and that September peak is the only peak that we see. Well, thank you for speaking on that. We're now going to move into our viewer question segment and ask you to answer those questions. Let's just play out the first question.
हेलो, मैं अमित दिल्ली से। मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि आजकल के मौसम में बच्चों को खांसी जुकाम हो रहा है, तो क्या सबको कोविड टेस्ट कराना चाहिए?
All right, doctor, he was asking that, this is the change of season here in North India, and he said with children getting cough and cold this time, and every time they develop that, should we get a COVID test done?
Not really. If people are getting ordinary cough and cold in children, I don't think everybody should be testing. The infectivity of children to the adults is very, very low. I think if there are elderly parents and if there are elderly people within the household, we need to be keeping these children separate from the elderly population. I don't think every time a child gets a cold, every week or every month, you should be testing them. I think they should go and see the doctor or a pediatrician like they normally do. See, this has actually become, see, I'm in the healthcare industry and I'm looking after patients. Every time I get a sore throat, I've had a COVID test done. I've already had 5 times the COVID test done and they've always been negative. Well, so it's a complicated problem, but I don't think for every cough and cold in a child that suffers, which is a matter of routine, people should be running to have a COVID test done. That's not necessary.
All right, well, let's just listen to the next question.
मैं पारुल गुप्ता दिल्ली से। मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है, अगर कोई महिला 6 मंथ प्रेग्नेंट है और वो कोविड पॉजिटिव हो जाए तो उसे क्या करना चाहिए?
All right, what should one do if one is 6 months pregnant and gets COVID is her question.
I think it's been very common for pregnant women also to get COVID positive. And from what we have seen, that majority of them are completely asymptomatic. I think they should be managed just like anybody else. And if there is a home isolation, they should carry on with the home isolation. If they are symptomatic, they should be managed in the hospital. The risk of the baby getting COVID is not being reported at all. There is no risk to the baby. And there have been many COVID positive mothers who have been successfully delivered without the child getting COVID. And there are many, many doctors, many hospitals which will even do a cesarean section for people who are actively COVID. So women who are pregnant, who acquire COVID, should not get too worried about it. Most of them have been so far asymptomatic. And they're all very young women.
All right, so that's very comforting news. Thank you so much, Dr. Ella, for joining us and answering all those questions.